Now it's time to get into one of the really fun aspects of color grading, and that is making creative looks. Again, really anytime that we make a image, we want it to feel a certain way. And if we put the images together in an edit, we want that whole edit to feel a certain way. So we can kind of infuse feeling and emotion into an image just by changing some of the colors. Let's go to a new shot here. How about shot 14? With this guy and his little entourage kind of walking. What if we wanted this to feel a little bit more happy and kind of exciting? Well, we can push a little bit of warmth into the shot. We can do that a bunch of different ways. Maybe we just want to take the temperature and push that a little bit warmer like this. Maybe we want to add a little bit of exposure. I'll just push up the gain a little bit. And now we have a much brighter kind of shot. So here's before and here's after. In fact, let's open our gallery and we can save out these different looks. I'll right click on this one and say grab still. And now we can reset our grades. And now let's do maybe a cooler one. We'll take the temperature and just move it to the left a little bit. And now we have a much cooler tone. Maybe we'll even desaturate it just so we have just a much different feeling. I'll right click and grab a still. Let's go another direction. I'll reset this node. Maybe we want to do it a little bit more green. You can take the tint towards green a little bit. And these are all just kind of color washes. What that means is just putting a bunch of color into a shot to kind of affect that feeling. And so this is kind of the more basic version of doing some creative color grading. So now we have a bunch of different possibilities, and I can just mouse over each of these to audition the kind of different looks. And the right answer is really, how do we want this to feel? If we want this to feel, like some kind of epic, like, oh, this is an epic standoff, maybe we'll do green or maybe even blue. If we want this to feel a little bit more sad, if we want it to feel like, just a regular afternoon, maybe we'll do a little bit warmer. It's really up to you. But this is kind of the most basic version of setting a look for our film. Generally, if you want to set a look for your film, you're going to put the same look over everything. So let's go ahead and take a look at how to do that. I think let's grab just our parkour shots here. And so we have our guy getting ready and going for a run, doing flips, jumping over things, that kind of thing. And let's say we want to add a certain feeling to this sequence. I can select all of these clips and I'm going to group them. So let's select them all, just shift select and then right click any of them. And we'll say add into a new group. I'll click on that and we'll call this parkour. And now everything in this group kind of has this little chain link icon. And up here in our nodes, what we've been doing is working on clip nodes. That means adjustments that are applied only to the clip that we have selected. But since we have all these clips in a group, we can actually go up to the top here where these little dots are and click on this third dot. And now we're in group post clip. So let's come up with a look for this whole sequence. Maybe we want this to feel a little bit cooler. So I'll push some temperature kind of a little bit cooler. And maybe we'll add a little bit more high contrast here. We'll do a little S curve. So now we have this specific look and it's applied to every single shot in our sequence. So here's before and here's after. And it's important when you are setting a look that it works for the most part for all of the shots that you are applying the look to. You don't want to build a contrast curve that just ruins half of your shots. This shot looks good. This shot looks nice. This shot looks nice. This one's maybe a little bit dark. And then this one's super dark, right? It's like probably way too dark. I wouldn't say that's a problem with setting our group. It's just that shot happens to be a little bit dark and we can adjust that shot itself and kind of keep this whole look for the group. And the cool thing about having these all in a group is not only can we apply one node, but we can actually apply multiple nodes and kind of build a whole crazy color grade for this entire group of nodes. I'll hit Option S, and maybe this one we will desaturate things a little bit. And let's just see how this looks on all of our shots. It's looking pretty good. And we'll label this desat. We'll label this first one blue and contrast. We could also split that up in a blue node and a contrast node, but that's fine. I'll hit Option S. Maybe we'll do something like push the shadows a little bit warmer. So now we have kind of this bluish feeling, but we have these warmer shadows. Depending on what we're going for, maybe we like that. A lot of it is the feeling that we want to achieve, and some of it is, does it look cool? Does it some of it's kind of hard to explain. Like, does this have the quality that we like? Does this feel the way that we want it to feel? And I think this is kind of a cool look. So we have this kind of built here. I'll label this warm shadows. And now we have our look built for our whole sequence. And now when we switch back to our clip nodes, each clip we can still adjust by itself. So this clip that's a little bit too dark, we can push the offset up a little bit and kind of bring that up before we apply that group correction and have it work a little better. Same thing for this one. See, we already have our exposure and contrast in blue on here, which is why it looks weird. So we'll just reset all grades and nodes for this clip, and I'll middle button mouse click to copy our color grade over from shot 9 to shot 10. And now we have everything roughly set where we want it to under our look. So that's really the main process of creating a look for a bunch of shots in a sequence. You can do this with multiple groups in one timeline. You can group everything in a timeline. There's a bunch of different ways to do it, but this is, I think, one of the best ways to have that overall look for your movie.